Hi, and welcome to the evolution of Couchspiration. This is a catch-all sort of show. One day I might talk about habit formation, the next I might talk about sumo wrestling. You might find something useful, or you might not. But it's like Florida weather, so just wait a minute and you'll get what you want. So here's the deal. I want to lose weight. So I'm consistently working to put new habits in place, um, just to replace the old ones. I'm diligently working on replacing eat all the noodles because, god damn it, I love ramen noodles. With hey, try some salad, and I've done my best with the sabam, the salad as big as my head, and all of that. But it's not, sometimes, some days it just doesn't stick. I'm trying to replace, sit on my butt all day with hey, maybe I should walk somewhere on the health park. And that's working, I guess. But I noticed a pattern with the way that I've been doing things, um, or with the pattern, the way that things seem to work out. And I'll tell you what, I rock for the first day. Every time it's like, oh my god, I'm so fired up. I've done the thing. I've made the decision. Oh my god, and I get it done, and the world is celebrating. The confetti is streaming all over everywhere, and I've made the decision. I'm doing the thing. I'm ready to roll. All of it is coming up roses, and there's nothing in the world that can stop me. And so I give myself the standing ovation and the pat on the back, and then the second date happens. And it might happen the second or the third or even the seventh, but what will happen is I will try to go back to eating the noodles, but it'll be like double time. It'll be, all crazy. It'll be something, the craving will be, not only screw this salad, but I will eat my head, there's something, noodle bowl the size of my head in noodles instead of salad, and that doesn't really work for me. I stop thinking about the consequences of the salad or of having that many noodles, which I will probably go into a coma. I tend to get carb hits where I just eat too much of the carb and then I pass out for like an hour and a half or something. And but what'll happen is it'll come. The point is that it'll come back with a vengeance. And so, like today, um, today is the second day of eating on Dr. Furman's plan. Um, and his plan is basically beans and greens and beans and greens and beans and greens, and no oil and no extra salt, and you know, don't put extra sugar in there. And it lightens up after the first 6 weeks, but the first 6 weeks you're eating beans and greens and beans and greens. And yesterday was amazing. I was eating all the vegetables. I was doing all the thing. I was singing. I was dancing. I was nomming like a mofo. 2 cans of beans, Brussels sprouts, you name it. It was on the plan, but I was doing it. And today I have done the same thing. I've been eating the stuff, doing the thing, but it has been more of a struggle than what I thought it would be. Um, there's a part that says, a part in the back of my head that says, oh, okay, well, you've proved yourself, you've done the thing. Um, and the temptation has been great today. I've been wanting to, basically, I want to have all the Frosties and all of the noodles and all of the this and all of that. And it's made me wonder, is there something wrong with me? Am I doomed to failure? Am I just doing something completely, not normal that's making me do this? And I found something that really made it make sense. And the answer to both of those questions, am I just doomed to failure, and is there something silly, stupid wrong with me? The answer to both of those questions is no. And so today, and it won't take me that long, I'm going to talk about psychology and I'm going to talk about extinction bursts. No, we're not talking about like, massive amounts of species of birds just dying all at once because their ecosystem was threatened, or somebody stepped on a butterfly or something. Um, no, extinction bursts happen when you're trying to kill a bad habit. It's basically your brain is hardwired, well, I guess it's wired to really, really dislike change. And when it's confronted with change, like when you're trying to change a habit, um, it turns into a snitty little child. So they are they're an intensification of the habit, or a desire to do the habit, because it does your brain, your body, you don't want to stop. Your brain and body or whatever don't want to stop doing what you're doing, even though it may be a habit that is just devastating to you. Eating the noodle bowls has not been very beneficial to me. And eating noodle bowls over a consistent time, considering what carbs do to you and blah, 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 it just doesn't work. But we don't like change, and internally we really don't like change. And so what'll happen is when we're faced with it, we throw up obstacles, we throw up barriers to make that change not happen, or make us forget about the change that we're trying to do, or what have you. And so what happens, in order to prevent the change from happening, our brain throws a temper tantrum. And our brain throws a massive temper tantrum. It is beautiful, it is wonderful, it is exciting, but it is still a temper tantrum. And a lot of people, and including me, in some cases, we stop pushing forward when it happens. We stop doing the thing. We start having second thoughts. We have, we go through a period where whatever habit that we're trying to change gets put to the wayside. We just say, screw this, I'm never meant to change. We get ruined. Well, not ruined, but we get, down on ourselves, and we just make the assumption that maybe this suffering thing is better than pushing through. And what's happening is, in reality, this is the last gasp. This is the last thing that our brain is trying to do before it gives up and actually allows us to make that change. It puts us into that change mode. So, the wailing, the screaming, the gnashing of teeth that your brain goes through, it's part of the process, but it's the most difficult part of the process. It's like the final boss, or at least the next to final boss, I guess. So you have to fight through it to make it, to make the good things happen. And so, we don't like being uncomfortable. We don't like putting ourselves into uncomfortable positions. There are a lot of people out there who are very used to being in uncomfortable positions and have gotten used to it. But on the general whole, we don't like making those changes, or we don't like being uncomfortable, and change is part of being uncomfortable. And so I wanted to emphasize to you, dear watcher, I guess, dear viewer, I don't know, I'll come up with some better way of referring to you guys, my friends, you're my friends, is that when you're going through this, when you're going through these really, just things that, you're like, well, I know logically the I'm doing the better thing here by trying to change my habits, but gosh darn it, I really, really, really want a bucket of ice cream. But when you're going through that, you're right on the edge of a breakthrough, a real, honest to goodness, there it stands, breakthrough. Where you're this close to giving yourself the permission and allowing the world to be a happier place, to push your changes through, to make yourself a better person, or change the thing that's been bothering you forever, for whatever. And that's wonderful. And it's it's like the way I'm thinking about it is like, you know, during the first 10 minutes of exercising for a lot of people, and this has happened to me, um, the first 10 minutes of exercising are absolute silly hell. You're like, I can't believe that I am doing this. I cannot believe I'm doing this. Oh my God, I don't want to do this, blah, 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 blah. And then after about 10 or 15 minutes, it just, that kind of thought starts to give up, and you're in that sort of zone of, okay, well, that, to some it's resignation and some it's endorphins, but it's like, well, okay, I guess I'm doing this. I guess I'm going to do this, so I might as well do this. And so the extinction burst, or the extinction temper tantrum, is kind of the same thing, but it's a longer process. So it lasts over the course of a day instead of a few minutes, but it still is sort of the same thing. It's, we don't like change, even if we're going from one state to another. We just don't notice it when we're doing something. We're doing things that are pleasurable, even though um, that it does happen. We kind of protest when we're doing stuff that's pleasurable. I can talk about that at a later time. But so, again, the whole idea here is that when you're having major blowback from your brain and you're trying to make yourself a better person, just remember that all you have to do is walk a little bit further, and it'll stop. It's like the second day after you've stopped smoking on the first, you really, really want that cigarette, but you found that if you can go through that, that those cravings start to subside, the urges start to subside, and you can actually get down to business. You can actually do what you need to be doing. And so this is just good thoughts for the day. And I wanted to close by saying that you can do it. You can do it. And I have faith in you. I have absolute faith in you. And I hope that you have an excellent, beautiful day out there, and that all the birds sing for you, that the trees rustle, that the joy is with you today. And may you be well. And I'll see you soon.